What's up, guys? It's the A God and a Son, and you're about to listen to the second edition of the Robbery Boys podcast, featuring a friend of mine and the best Call of Duty player associated with the Robbery Boys, in Doyling _ the Doyle, Star-Eyed Army, No Problem Bro, Wow I Am Great, Taxing Zero, whatever you want to call this guy. He's going to continue his career into MW. We touch on each of the last 5 or 6 Call of Duty titles and his thoughts on those, playing GBs, playing pubs. He talks about how COD Chicago can be one of the biggest gaming organizations in NA. This will be uploaded to YouTube. It'll be premiering on Twitch and uploaded to iTunes. So check this out, the second edition of the Robbery Boys podcast titled The Life of Doyle. All right, Doyle, after 2 months, who do you think is going to be the best team in the franchise Call of Duty League that's coming up this year?
Okay, so I guess I'll break it down in 2 points. I think the best overall team is going to be Chicago, with just Formal Gunless Arcity's Envoy. I think their closest competition is going to be Dashy, Slasher, TJ, Kenny, and JCap on Immortals. But I think Atlanta has the highest ceiling because they just have a bunch of young guys. They have like Simp, Abizi, Celium, Major Maniac, and Priesta. I think the best overall team is still going to be Chicago, though. I just think Atlanta can be insane. I just don't know how roles are going to work out.
Would Atlanta be the youngest team?
Yeah, I think Major Maniac's the oldest player on that team.
What's he, like 24?
Yeah, he's been playing. Like, he used to play on a team called War. We Are Reckless, like, way back in Black Ops 2. I don't know. They could even be in earlier than that. He played with TJ, Major Maniac, and Huskers from... he plays for Rogue. He's like the best Apex Legends player, or one of the best Apex Legends players.
Wow.
But he's pretty old. But Simp just qualified for the league last year, midway through the year. Abizi's young. Celium is a similar situation where he just qualified not too long ago, and Priest is the same. They're all really, really young. And then I guess the other two, I just think experience is probably going to show up a lot in this game, especially for the first 2 months. After that, I could see like Chicago being a team that stomps, or like Chicago and Immortals being teams that stomp for the first like 3 to 4 months. And then when Atlanta learns the game, they just figure it out better than anybody else does.
Yeah, Chicago and LA. Is it called Immortals for sure? Is that in LA? Or what
Well, supposedly it's going to be called, I think, Los Angeles Optic.
Okay, but that is Immortals team.
Rumor. Immortals owns them, yeah. It's
so,
like Dashy Slash.
Do you think they're going to be the two like fan favorites right off the rip, and it's going to last all season?
I think similar to every team Scum's ever been on.
Yeah.
Their team gets like TJ, when he was on Optic, was getting sometimes like 5K viewers. He gets 100 now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I think it'll just be Chicago that blows every team out of the water in terms of viewership. I think a lot of those like cusp players like TJ, where they did have fans, and Dashy, who had fans, I think they'll just stop streaming, or just stream like very, very seldomly, because they just don't pull viewers anymore.
Yeah, Dashy might be able to, but I think it's not going to be nearly what he had like in the middle of the Black Ops 4 season. He was streaming pretty well. He had like 3-4K viewers that time, especially after, what was the first event? Was that Vegas?
Yeah, Vegas was the first.
After that, man, he was like, whew. He was pulling the viewers big time.
People love him for sure. I think it's just similar to Simp. Like, Simp was probably the most dominant player for the last 3 events, and he pulls like 1,000 viewers.
Yeah.
Like, Scum had 100,000 viewers.
Yeah, the COD community, they love content creation first. I don't blame them for that. I like it too. Like, that's something that keeps the COD storyline going along, is the fact that they have really good content creators.
I think personality-wise, Chicago's by far has the most
Oh, they have
personality of any
potential,
teams.
man. That's the good thing about Hector being there is that he can make sure they still will stay with like the content creation with personalities. Because if it's on you to do it, like as a pro player, it can be tough to think like I have to
Yeah.
practice for these games, and I'm also expected to be like a very very high profile community leader on the internet.
Yeah, well, like Scump and Formal, they'll pull in their viewers. Like Gunless has like the full anime scene behind him.
He's a weirdo. I like
Arcetics,
that
people
guy.
just love Arcetics. Like it doesn't matter what team. Like
Yeah.
a lot of EU fans are gonna literally watch Chicago and cheer for Chicago just because they have Arcetics. Like he has his own weird following. And then Envoy, I don't think he'll stream like ever. I don't think he has much of a like a personality compared to the other people, but he'll be like a TJ where he just gets like whenever he puts a stream on, it'll have 2,000 viewers because
Yeah.
it's just a different POV
Hmm.
than just watching Scump or Formal or Gunless.
Yeah, the rest of the community, if they want to stream, are gonna have to figure out like what times that T2P likes to stream, and then completely base their schedules around not doing that. It's
Yeah,
like those
it's
arguments you would hear Scumpy and Nadeshot get into, where they'd
yeah.
wake up like at like 7 o'clock in the morning to see who could go live first to try to maintain like the 10K views, and the next guy would get like six.
I remember watching like being in high school and watching them go to the first team house, and I remember watching when they didn't have subs and everything was just like viewers, and I remember them ending their stream with like 20,000 people watching,
Hmm.
and them just like turning their stream like they'll just be like, okay, everybody, I didn't run any ads today. I'm gonna run one at the very end. Everybody, stay if you can and watch it.
Yeah,
Like
that's because that
it's a
was the only
weird
way they
time.
made money. Like straight up, they
Yeah.
needed the ad money, and
Yeah, I
that's
remember
like,
Scump's PayPal got hacked and everybody leaked how much he was making and everybody's like mind
Jesus, man.
blown. It's a
Yeah,
long time ago.
yeah, man. They make a lot more now, and it's still like, oof. Streamers make so much money. It's actually insane when you think about it. Two
Yeah,
dollars and 50 cents minimum per sub. With Twitch Prime, it's like $3.
yeah,
Some people, if you get 10,000 subs, that's so much money, dude.
yeah. It's like 20K a month.
Yeah, that's an insane amount of money, and it's really not like
Yeah,
it's hard to do. But somebody like Formal, who if you want to like have the off season dedicated entirely to streaming, you're gonna have a big enough following from professional COD that you could get 10K subs.
yeah. Like he has like whenever I watch Formal actually a lot right now, he gets a consistent about like 2.2K viewers.
Hmm.
He has 20,000 subs and it stays in that bubble. Like right now he's a little under 19. I saw he was like getting down to 18 and now it's almost at 20 again. Like he somehow keeps it up. And then on top of that, people are cheering like 30,000 bits. Like one individual person is cheering 30,000 bits a day. And then you have people just giving donations of like coming in and giving like a $50 donation or a $20 donation so they can give him a message.
Yeah, no, it's insane. It's crazy. I
Yeah,
love it.
tons of money.
I was gonna say one more thing about Formal. It yeah, especially with the MW, the new MW coming out, he had some pretty good streams there. That was fun to watch. He's kind of like the
Yeah,
king of Blackout now too.
he is definitely the best blackout player in the world. I think what's interesting about Formal is a lot of people go PG when they start getting like Ninja went PG, like he stopped swearing, stopped
Yeah.
like he cut out his like a part of his personality because it catered more to one audience than the other, but Formal doesn't. Like he'll still swear. He fucking always has a lip in, and
He
like
does,
he
man.
spits in a bottle all stream.
Yeah.
Like doesn't care. He it's not like the content he's making is the content he wants to make. If it doesn't do well, I don't think you would see Formal change. He would just start streaming less.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Especially like with the off season of Call of Duty this year and everybody changing teams, it doesn't seem like there's anybody else really to watch that's streaming on a regular basis that's like also entertaining at the same time.
Yeah, I think Octane is a little underrated. I feel kind of bad for him because he always has a stream running, and he was probably the most consistent player all year last year. Like
Yeah.
best AR by a mile. But he has a good personality too in my mind, but he doesn't really pull in many viewers. And
Oh,
again, that's just the optic effect.
oh, for sure.
He's not on optic. He doesn't get viewers. COD only gets viewers for optic.
All
Or
right.
Scump, I think, is now.
Yeah. Well, if Scumpy wants to stream full time, he'll probably be number one back in the Call of Duty scene for sure. Like quickly.
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
that Chicago Call of Duty this year has the chance to be one of the biggest like followed esports teams in NA. Period. Like all games.
Yeah,
I'd say so.
I don't know why you wouldn't think that. I guess it makes complete sense that it was the smartest. I don't know how Hex got Scump out of it, because I'm pretty sure there was a rumor that all the Optic guys were still under contract.
I think that's
So
what
I
he
don't know
did though.
how.
He died for them, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like he
Yeah,
said, I'll leave, but I'm taking them with me. Period. Like no questions asked.
yeah,
At the end of the day, like Immortals needs the League of Legends slot. So whatever they have to do
yeah,
to keep that, you have to keep your League of Legends slot. Like that's why Nate Shot's not in COD. He's like, I need the money because I have to be in League of Legends.
yeah.
I just straight up have to be there. Like I can't not.
Everybody's upset that they dropped their like energy, dropped their CS:GO. Well, they sold their CS:GO
Yeah.
roster. I guess drops the wrong term,
EG baby.
but I don't know. Like I get it. It's like it sucks if that's your game,
Yeah.
but I don't think CS:GO is a good investment anymore to be in. I think they have to do like an overall of how the league works. It's too saturated. No one knows what's going on. Like
Yeah.
they don't
CSGO's in a
bring
weird
in new
spot.
viewership. They don't bring in new viewership. They bring in the same viewership. The only time it gets more viewership is when everybody decided to watch one stream.
Yeah, that's true. All right,
But
well, let's leave that alone for now. And Doyle, like we did with Cold Dog 20, let's just go right back to the start, buddy.
sure.
Okay, first game you've played, and you're like, all right, this be it.
Like in some type of
Competitive fashion, or just like
competitive
something that you
fashion.
know that you want to put hours into it every day.
Yeah. Huh. I think it's probably like before I even had an Xbox. It probably just goes back to playing at Ryan Doucett's house, just playing Xbox all the time, like going there and playing Halo 3. Um, we played a lot of it, and then World at War was out at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I only wanted to play zombies,
Oh yeah, Zombies was
but
amazing.
Ryan wanted me to always play multiplayer on his account to get his stats up. But I
Get that
only wanted to play
KD.
zombies, so I'd be like, okay, I'll play like 2 or 3 maps, and I'll get your stats up, and then we'll play zombies. And they'd be like, okay.
Yeah, that's
And
funny.
then
Because I remember when you guys would play Halo together, you would pay, like, I don't know if you paid for it or whatever it worked, but you would have an Xbox Live account that was like had a monthly subscription from his Xbox, and you guys would play split screen. That's funny. I just thought that
we
was so
used to
funny.
play all the time. It was crazy. And then I honestly think the only reason we stopped being like super, 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 super close friends
Mm-hmm.
is he stopped wanting to play Xbox as much, and I just still wanted to play it as much
Yeah.
as I did. And then when Modern Warfare 2 hit, it just it was a takeover.
Oh yeah, like me and Colby touched on the thing like where when you go to university or like later when you're in like 15, 16 in high school, you stop playing video games and you make friends from real life experience, but we just didn't really. We just
Yeah,
kept playing video games with each other, and the fact that you can just play online, it's like who cares if you're in the same city? Like, I don't care.
it's true. It is
It is
crazy.
like it's not it's okay that we didn't make new friends is because we don't need to because we just play video games anyway. I don't care for in person, but I remember
Yeah.
playing Zombies. Zombies would have been the first time in my life where I was like taken back by the lore of a game, like not the direct lore, like this is how it happens, but the Easter eggs and stuff like that. I just thought the
Yeah.
COD 5 Easter eggs were so good.
Yeah, I think the cool thing about the COD 5 Easter eggs as well is like I'm not saying the technology wasn't around,
Mm-hmm.
but the lore and the rumors behind things.
Yeah,
Like no one really knew how the Easter egg works. So you didn't like watch YouTube videos on it when World at War was out. You just like, oh, I heard if you turn on the radios, it makes a zombie smarter.
I think it
Or
does.
if you get to this round and
Yeah.
you go to this area, the gate will open up and you'll
Man,
actually
remember
win.
we tried that with this dude online.
Yeah.
We would play like matchmaking online for Doris, and we would just hope to God that we could get one or two people that would actually want to do
Yeah.
the Easter eggs. We finally found one, and we were like fully committed. We all got like, forget what gun it was, like one with a really big clip on the top. What was that one called?
Is it the Type 99 or
Yeah,
something
whatever
like
it is,
that?
something like that.
Something like that.
But you had to have everybody in the game had to have one of those, and you had to get to like round like 38 or some dumb shit, and then you also had to like throw a monkey in this right spot, and we were like one
Yeah.
round away, and he's like, "I'm going in." We're like, what? He was like, yeah, I'm going in. And he just died and we lost. We're like, okay, we did that for like 3.5 hours, man. How
Yeah.
would we just lose? But getting in the hole with the monkeys and the three Pack-a-Punch
Yeah.
guns after you could use the bouncing betties,
Yeah, bouncing
you
Betty
could
glitch.
literally be in there forever. The bouncing betty glitch is what made the game fun, man. It was way too hard with two
It
guns.
was. It did make it a lot funner. I
Yeah.
think like that was probably the first thing. Like I took probably the first like competitive portion than everybody else did in terms of video games. Like where I actually played like a lot of competitive
Oh yeah,
COD stuff.
definitely.
But like I think that was probably the first thing we ever like invested a lot of time into it. Like
We were good at
is
zombies,
just
man.
playing that one map. Like we would go to like I would come over to your house.
I would never
We
play
would
another map ever.
yeah. We
Never.
would I would come over, we would play for 3 hours, and then we'd be like, oh, we're going to the movie tonight. We'd pause.
Yeah, we went to
And then
code. We were
would
like
get
5 hours into a game of zombies, and we're like, we're not gonna leave. We're pausing.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah,
went to
pause
Cody
the
Gorman's party in like grade 8 or some shit. We came
Is
back.
that what it was?
Yeah, and then the Xbox overheated and it turned off, and I got the red ring.
Yeah,
I think a new Xbox. Yeah, that was. I don't know. Zombies was. Zombies, yeah, zombies like top 3 favorite things I've ever done in video games, if not number 1.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. It's just it was such an interesting time. Like, um, zombies were good in other games, but in World at War, because there was so much that people didn't understand on such a basic map.
Mm-hmm. And the approach they
Because
took to zombies was straight. It wasn't like colorful, futuristic. It was straight up Nazi zombies. There's gonna be blood. These zombies are freaking weird as hell. They make super weird noises. And the music, man, the music was creepy as hell. You got this little girl laughing in your ear, dude.
yeah,
And you go and do that shit with Sophia, man. The radios are talking. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'm like 13, man. I can't handle this. I'm stressing out.
I think like just like the sheer amount of things that they put in the game for no reason
Yeah,
is
that's what
something
made it good.
that it's interesting. Like, do you remember on the top platform, like right before the catwalk, there's like a big ventilation system, and you can look through a hole in it, but there's a piece of paper inside of it.
I couldn't.
But
I
it
always wanted to
has
know what it
nothing.
said. Yeah, I
It
don't
has
know.
nothing
That's
to
so
do with
dumb.
anything.
But that
and it's
I
just
sweated over
randomly
that
put in.
every single night for
Yeah.
months. I was like, what does it say? What does it mean? I need to know.
Yeah.
And I'd go like looking up like different languages. Like, okay, is this like Spanish or some shit? And you couldn't even read the writing. So I'd literally take out my phone, take a picture of it, zoom in on my phone to see if I could get it any closer. And I was like,
Yeah, it
I
makes
can't.
no sense. It was so smart and such weird.
I wonder if you ran the game in
design.
like 4K now, and you could zoom in really close. And I don't know.
You probably can.
Yeah.
Well, there's that game that just like is strictly the zombie maps. You can buy
Really?
it,
Wow.
and it has like every zombie map.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But,
don't know. That's why
yeah.
zombies are so good for me. It's just like the freshness of it too. COD 5 zombies, that'll always be my favorite zombies no matter what.
Yeah, that's it. It was not complex, but it was very complex at the same time. It's something that's not complex at all now, and we know so much about the map that we don't have to ever stress things. But it was always felt like you were learning something new about it. You would hear like you would go into a game and we'd only stay in the lobby if both people had mics.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
we're
you would
not
just
we're
hear
not doing that,
hearsay
man.
from somebody
Because if
else.
somebody opens the wrong door, you're done.
Yeah,
If you didn't
you're
like
done.
if you wanted to use if you wanted to go catwalk, you like and when you played 4s, I think catwalk was the best, but 3s it was definitely like where you didn't open the trench gun side and you played like one person watch the window, 2 guys just take the MGs and just shred down the alleyway. That was the best way to do it with 3s, but with 4, if you could get somebody with the Pack-a-Punch flamethrower shooting over the top, and the zombies were weak when they were coming up to you, man, because the Pack-a-Punch flamethrower would never die. You could literally just hose down, man. That was the play. You get one guy watching the window, 2 guys on the steps, and one guy just pouring out flames for days. That was the best. Like, I love that. That was sick.
Yeah, it was a great.
And then we get in trouble, and we say, Doyle, throw a monkey, and he just go train the zombies around the map for 5 minutes while we try to go pick people up and buy perks.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
funny, man.
After zombies, before we get into the games that you played like hyper competitively, before you played games competitively, I feel like I was there for most of the games you would have played. So the next one for me would have been Halo Reach that we played a lot.
Yeah.
The reason I like Halo Reach was the big team battle was just so good in that game.
Yeah.
It was so good.
And it's weird because I hate big team battle.
Me
Like I
too.
hate ground war.
I hated Halo 3 big team.
Everything about it, but there was something like the Hornets flying around, like getting like 20 wheelman sprees
Man.
and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like an interesting time as well. Like Halo Reach, we played a lot of, and we weren't very good.
Firefight,
Like,
played a lot of Firefight, played the campaign. Campaign Halo Reach is probably the top 3 video game campaign ever for an FPS.
Yeah. Yeah, we played everything. Like we played
We had so much score
campaign.
in Firefight. I was like, what do we do with all
Yeah,
this?
firefight. Oh wow, I forgot firefight's even a
Yeah,
thing.
Firefight was good, man.
Forge.
Forge
Like
on
the
Halo
amount of like
Reach
playing
was.
like the racetracks and stuff. Like
That was good. I forgot about those. Remember we
yeah,
told Ryan
like
Doucette that we made one? We just like got downloaded one. And he's like, we made this. He's like, how long did this take you? We're like, weeks. Weeks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan
Just like
Doucette.
the flaming mongoose. You punch your mongoose 3 times and get on and get flames coming out the back.
There's so many good things about that game. It's it's weird because I love that game, and then I'll hear like some of my favorite pros, and I think I have more of an understanding of the pro scene now than I did probably
Yeah.
then.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, well, as Halo Reach, it wasn't very defined. I guess it's not like everybody knew about it, but
No.
uh, like I love Halo Reach. Every pro hates Halo Reach. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe because it's like one of those games that just catered to a public audience, and that's probably it. That it's so
As a
just
video
like
game, Halo Reach is a
non-competitive.
masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. As a
Yeah.
competitive game, like the two biggest things that people complain about are bloom on the DMR and sprinting. They just didn't want that,
Yeah.
straight up.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't mind
Forgot
sprinting.
about.
I didn't mind sprinting was okay. It was like you could play without it because I find jetpacks were pretty good for multiplayer if you were walking, but sprinting with jetpacks, you were moving around the map pretty quick.
Yeah. There's well, that was the one with like there was like 4 special abilities you could choose, right?
Yeah, but
Like the ones like the fucking like you
yeah,
curled into a ball and
yeah. What was that like? I don't know. You punch the ground or whatever.
yeah, and then you like people would run at you with ghosts
You
and
could
stuff.
throw out like the little mirage thing too. That was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there was a and then yeah, Halo Reach is a fun game because like Halo Reach again was like the first game I played on my own because Ryan Doucette didn't play games at
Yeah,
that point.
you had your own Xbox then.
He didn't. Yeah, I had my own Xbox then. I guess like that was the Xbox 360
Yeah.
days. But that Halo Reach was a game we played a lot non-competitively. MLB 2K.
MLB 2K.
or
Yeah. The thing I
whatever
have
it
written down for
was.
games we played non-competitively was obviously zombies, and then it was Halo Reach, and then it was probably NBA when we did the fantasy
2K,
drafts.
yeah.
Those are good, man. Those are just
2K12 was or 2K11 was it?
2K11
That's a
was
masterpiece.
a phenomenal game. The idea of the
That's the one
Jordan
with the Jordan
challenges,
challenge.
where
Yep.
there was
Yep.
no the reason why that game was so good, and if they tried it again today, it just straight up wouldn't work, is because the microtransactions there were just none. So if you wanted the Jordans that you really wanted, you had to play
true.
the
You
goddamn
had to play
game.
for them.
You couldn't
Yeah.
just put in $10 and have the RNGesus bless you with some nice J's. If you didn't want to wear your 2K ugly ass kicks, you had to play the goddamn game.
Yeah, there was also I forget if it was Create a Pro or Be a Pro, but they had or Create a Legend or Be a Legend or something
Yeah.
like that. But you got to pick like one of these like you could pick a player in like their rookie season
Mm-hmm.
and try to make them like a legend.
Yeah.
And I remember picking like a young Kobe Bryant and just doing like this stupid because it always worked in 2K11, running to the baseline and fading into the baseline and shooting the basket.
Yeah.
Like it was just unstoppable move.
Yeah, the Jordan challenges were my favorite part of that game, probably.
Yeah, I
They were
think that
fun.
game was just like it was when sports games still weren't super popular, so they had to try.
Yeah, they were niche enough where microtransactions didn't ruin it yet, but it was still like it was such a diehard, like if you were a diehard NBA fan, you weren't gonna miss anything. It just had everything you possibly wanted. The fact that you could play all of
Yeah.
Michael Jordan's biggest games, first of all.
Yeah, that's cool. You
Yeah.
could do the flu game.
You
You
had
could
to
do
it was
all of those.
hard too. It was like shut down their best player and get 10
Yeah.
rebounds and score like
Shut
50
down
points in
Clyde
5-minute
Clyde.
quarters. I was like, how? And Michael Jordan's stamina was so bad for some reason. Had 2 trips off the floor. You're like,
he
I
had
gotta
the
get him
flu.
out.
One of the challenges, he had the flu.
The only way you would actually beat the Jordan challenges is if you would get a bunch of points with Michael in the first half because he had his legs. You would sit him and you would put Craig Hodges in at the 2, and you would just rain threes with Craig Hodges because you had to win the game. So it's like, Craig, Michael, you're out. Craig, you're playing second half and you're gonna let it rip. But you get like 55 with Craig and 20 with Michael and win.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it was fun. After that, it would have been Black Ops 1 is probably where you would have started, right? Around that.
Yeah, Black Ops 1's the first game I ever probably played competitively.
Yeah, because I remember we started with GBs, but I didn't really go too far with GBs, and that's when you kept
Played
going.
with White Boy Mally.
Man, yeah, White Boy. Me and White Boy played a little bit of
White Boy
Gears. Yeah, a
Mally.
little bit of Gears with White Boy too. I love Gears. Gears is good. But
Yeah,
Anyway,
I forget what we had a falling out. I think I told him off one day. I can't remember because he acted so differently. He was such a tough guy online.
I don't know, dude.
Never the same in person. But yeah, Black Ops 1 was the first game I played competitively. I just remember playing like TDM on launch, like on Game Battles forums, TDM on launch, and not really understanding. And then I don't know how it happened because there's no league play on Black Ops 1. But I think it was because I started going through the GB forums to find other people. That's when the GB forums were still a thing.
Yeah, that's
and like
what
pro
it would've been.
players were literally on it. Like it was just like it was such a toxic community at the time. Like you would go on and people would just be telling each other off. But basically, like people would search, like type on the GB forums, like team of one, looking for 3 other players to play. Like I don't know what they would call it, but yeah. And then I found a guy named I think ERA Inferno, who was just an Era fanboy.
Yeah.
And then there was another guy named Chris Bailey, whose brother's Isaiah Cannon.
NBA superstar Isaiah Cannon.
And we played a lot together. Like that's when I started playing S&D.
Mm-hmm.
And we would play the GB forums all day. And I don't think I really watched any Black Ops 1 like actual competitive. I knew it was a scene, but at that point the game was so like there was no. I didn't want to watch people play. I wanted to play it.
Yeah, well, that's
like
when we were that age. Oh yeah, when we were that age though, it wasn't like a known thing that you play the game and then you watch it pro. It was like if you're a diehard fan, you'll watch it pro, but for the most part, you just don't because nobody did.
Yeah,
it wasn't nearly as developed as it is now.
I think it's similar to sports. If I still knew I could play sports at like a certain level and still think I'm good, I don't want to watch sports. I want to play sports. I don't want to watch them. Like, I love playing wiffle ball. I don't want to watch someone play wiffle ball.
No.
I want to play it. And that's the same way I was always with video games. And then finally it switched to seeing them on YouTube and finding personalities on YouTube like Scump and Nadeshot and seeing that I didn't watch it still for the competitive. I watched it because I liked those players.
Yeah.
I liked those people. I liked those personalities. But
yeah,
that's into a whole other game.
For you in Black Ops 1 though, that this all would have happened like the second half of Black Ops 1 because we played a lot of Black Ops 1 together within the first 6 months.
Yeah, and everybody just kind of stopped playing.
Yeah, well, we couldn't really play with other like well, not me anymore, but we all had PlayStation 4s for Black Ops 4, and you had one a little bit before that to play with a couple of our other friends who were playing COD. But at the time, the only people who would have played COD would have been me and you on the Xbox because nobody else really had one. I guess Tyler was there for a bit, but he switched to the PlayStation and didn't really play a whole lot.
Jack McKeither.
Jack was good, man. Whitey was there for a bit.
Jeremy White was there for a bit.
There for a bit, but he didn't play like super comp. The boys would play if we asked them to, but they were fine running pubs or whatever.
Yeah, that's all they wanted to play was pubs. That was the first game I think like I knew I was good at, just like playing Black Ops 1 and knowing that like that was like I remember playing Black Ops 2 and not being good, but Black Ops 1 I was really good.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because it was such in my mind such a low, I guess in some way you could say it's maybe high skill gap game, low skill gap game, but there was one dominant gun. So it wasn't like going, oh well, like in Modern Warfare 2 you could go, oh I've been using the wrong gun and they're just obviously there's better guns, so people are better than me with those. In Black Ops 1, you had one viable gun. It was the FAMAS.
Yeah, and you got that early on too. Like you didn't have to level up that much. You got
to level like 14 or 12.
Yeah.
And you got it with COD points, and if you just saved your COD points, you could get it fully attached at like level 14.
Yeah, that's when COD XP came out, wasn't it? Around then, that whole league thing or whatever it was, COD XP. I think that's
COD
the first year.
XP came out for Modern Warfare 3.
Oh, okay. What am I thinking of then? There was something else. What was it? Like Call of Duty Elite? Is that what it was? Where you had like a little dashboard? And you could go online and do it and have all your like competitive stats on it. I forget what it was.
That is called Elite. Yeah. But I can only remember that from Modern Warfare 3 because with Modern Warfare 3 there was no comp scene. And again, I was still playing with similar people, but I just started playing like S&D pubs all day. Like that's all I would play. Like I was like top like 500 on the leaderboards like globally.
Wow.
And like I was just in like this clan and the COD Elite thing, and it gave us always always had running double XP from it.
Yeah, that's what I remember because you get into clans. That was really cool. And Halo tried to do that with Halo 4, but it didn't really work. They tried to do it on Halo Waypoint, but it didn't really click the same way. I thought COD Elite should have stuck around actually.
Yeah, well, they tried to bring it back just recently. They with the companion app.
Yeah.
But
Was that
it's not
like
the same.
Activision sanctioned or Call of Duty
I think it
sanctioned?
is Activision
Yeah.
sanctioned. But the issue with it is there's no real rewards. The rewards suck.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the whole reason people liked it is because it had cool rewards. Like you would get double XP for this game. I think microtransactions play a huge factor in that as well.
Definitely.
Where like in Modern Warfare 3, there wasn't special guns you could get from loot
Yeah.
crates.
Yeah, me and Colby talked about
Double
that
XP was everything.
when we were trying to realize what made Modern Warfare 2 so fun to grind is the fact that when you got a camo or a emblem or a title, that's because you earned it. There's no way you could have got that without actually playing the game. Like microtransactions just take some of like the grind out of the game. And the early CODs,
Yeah.
like when I go back to MW2, even I played it last night for the first time in years, like 5 years probably. And when I got my camos again, I was like, oh boy, let's go. I want another one now. It's sick, man. Just knowing that the only way you're getting that shit is you put a couple hours into it.
I think, and maybe I always kind of attributed to this too, is that with Modern Warfare 2, we weren't good at video games yet.
No. You didn't even like Modern Warfare 2, did you, that
so
much?
Rewarding. I think I had like 40, I had definitely over 40 days played on it, so I must have somewhat liked it. I think it's a nostalgia game. I definitely do. I think it's a good game, and I like the campaign's excellent.
Campaign's
and
good.
I
Spec
like
Ops
the
are
Spec
good.
Ops.
The maps are so good.
And the maps.
The maps are
really
so
fun. Like,
good.
It's a colorful COD.
Yeah.
That's always good to see. But I think being bad at a game made the grind feel so much rewarding. Like,
oh yeah.
Now, if I went on Modern Warfare 2 and I wanted, like, say, like Red Tiger or Blue Tiger for a camo, and it's like 100 headshots for
like
it.
250 probably.
I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that in like 15 games.
Yeah, like, if you really want to, if you're that good.
Yeah, if I wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
Like now.
Yeah.
Like then, it probably took me a month.
Oh, easily.
To do it.
And no, the only way you're getting
going 1v1 boosting in cage match.
The only way you're getting the fall camo, as far as I'm concerned, is the 1v1 cage match where you say, "I'll do the first 24, then you do 25, and after 24, you're leaving the game." And this guy's an idiot.
Them right in the head and win.
Oh yeah, GG boys.
They come up. Okay, now it's your turn. They come up real close, and you just shoot them right in the head. They're like, "You fucking idiot!"
Oh, I love that, man. That was so good. And then
Modern Warfare 2 was funny as well because like people fucking like I remember like getting free Microsoft points from kids. From like just
we would rip people like I don't know if I'm gonna say this or not, but I don't know. Whatever. Okay, I'm gonna say it. I don't care. We would play COD 5. We played so much zombies that we almost outlasted zombies on Call of Duty 5 to the point where we were in hack lobbies like half the games, whether we wanted it or not.
Yeah, true.
And we would play so many hack games that we knew how to like approach a hack lobby. So we would put in our bios on Xbox, message for hacked, hacked zombies in COD 5. People would message. Remember that? Oh man, I feel so bad now. I actually want to cry. But anyway, there was this kid. What were the like amount of Microsoft points you could buy? And it was like 1,200 for like $15. Was that what it was?
Yeah, something like
1,200 and 2,000 maybe, or whatever
it's a long time ago.
But you couldn't split them up.
Points.
You couldn't sell. No. You couldn't give somebody 600.
No.
When you put the code in, 1,200 was on your account, and you had to do something with it. But these people didn't give us Microsoft points from their account. They gave us Microsoft points, like the actual numbers on the card. Yeah. And they had to be Canadian, too, because we couldn't use American Microsoft points. So we had to find these weird little Canadian kids with Microsoft points that wanted to play zombies. And this kid came on the mic, and he's like 12. And he's like, I just got these Microsoft points for my birthday. I only have 2,000. I can't split them up. I will give you all 2,000. I was like, all right. And he cashes them in and buys the stupidest skin I've ever seen in my life for his character. Buys the map pack. He's like, thank you. We actually took this kid into the game and we were just like walking around. He's like, when does it start? And we're like, this is it. This is the hacked lobby.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
man.
man, that feels bad. Like I just remembered something as well, and like, we knew about the competitive scene very, very early on
Mm-hmm.
because we had the MLG gamer
Oh yeah.
pictures, like those
Yeah.
game pictures that they put up for like I don't even remember like 600 Microsoft points or whatever you spent on them,
Yeah.
and they had like the final boss ones. They had like GGs.
Mm-hmm.
They
That's
had like
when
Frag
COD and
Cup.
Halo were like intertwined. Halo was a little bit bigger maybe still at the time, but MLG
Yeah,
had them both kind of running at the same time. Those were fun.
yeah,
Those are cool.
those were. Yeah, those are really cool. I wish I actually was gonna like try to find them and just change my
Mm-hmm.
PSN profile pic to
Yeah.
one of them.
I forget which the one that you used. I think it was like the like eye rush maybe, and you had like the little
Yeah,
flat
like it was a
little.
heart or something.
No,
I
it
don't
was
remember what it
the
was.
4-leaf clover. I think.
Oh, was
Yeah,
it?
I think it was that one. I forget what the other ones were. It was like
Yeah.
one was like campy, and then yeah, the Deuce would always use the camper one because God, that guy would camp.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was playing
Jeez.
MW2 yesterday, and I was thinking like when I was a kid, I used to play so slow, like
Yeah.
so slow, and the only reason why is because I wanted to get to the coolest part on the map at all times. Like I just really wanted to go like to the top of the crane or run up the wing on Afghan and jump on that little rock. I just all I want to do all game, every single game.
Yeah. There's a lot of like yeah, running up on the wing and jumping on that little like air
Yeah,
conditioner vent on
yeah.
Afghan or whatever it was. Yeah, there's a lot of little cool spots like that. I remember the care package glitch in Modern Warfare 2,
Yeah, that
where
was
you
a
could just get
unlimited
like
care
tons
package.
and tons of
You
care
you would
packages.
go and like step on the ledge really quick and throw it while you're jumping
Yeah.
off the ledge, and it wouldn't.
What is that? What map is that? Skid Row? What is that
You
called?
could do it on Skid Row. You could do it on. You could do that glitch on Terminal too, like right below the plane. You could
Okay,
do
yeah,
that.
yeah. But yeah, there was a lot of like a little like yeah, Modern Warfare 2 is a nostalgic game and I'll love it for that. But it's not a game I'm gonna go and sit down and play
Yeah,
because I
that's
don't
true.
want it to hurt my vision of the game. I just
I
can't
don't know,
do that.
Doyle. I think you'd like it still. If you
Like
don't have like a really serious approach, if you go in and say like, "Oh boy, let's see what I can do now," it's pretty fun, honestly. It's
like
super
I don't even know if
unbalanced,
I
but
got a real nuke in Modern Warfare 2. Like I'm trying to
yeah.
think of getting an actual nuke by myself.
Mm,
I may have got one,
I'm trying to think.
maybe.
Yeah, you did definitely. I don't know if it was you or Ryan Doucette. I think it might have been you. It was
Might have been,
on.
but
It was on. Derailed for
maybe
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, it was on Derailed. I remember. I
Because
was
I
in the
remember
game.
me and Zach Creamer used to boost for nukes.
Yeah.
And then we go like 1-1. That's like our logic behind it was like even if you don't get it, it's the next person's turn.
Wow.
And it just never worked
No,
out
it's
for
really
him, but
tough.
it always worked out for me.
Yeah.
And he's like, we've done this like 10 times. I've got one, and you've gotten like 8.
Man, like 2 years ago, when me and Digger lived together, well, it was probably like 2 or 3 now. He would go on my Xbox 360. Poop got an Xbox 360 like a couple years ago just so we could play MW2. We played for like a couple months or whatever, and then his Xbox Live ran out and he never renewed it. But him and when I was at school, him and Digger would boost for nukes. I
Yeah,
was
they're
like, boys,
weirdos.
are you serious right now? Wasn't
They
Crash in
boost for
MW2
MLB
as
cards.
was Crash in
It was a map
MW2?
pack,
Yeah,
yeah.
because they would go to the
Came in
top
as
of
a
Crash
map
and try to
pack.
boost nukes with tactical insertions.
That's probably the worst spot on Crash. I feel like the
Honestly,
boost for
man.
nukes. That's where I would expect people to
Man,
be.
you calling a helicopter, bro? You can't live if you're on top of Crash.
Yeah,
You
true.
got no cover.
Back left corner, man, or it's like off the spawn on Crash.
Yeah.
One of them has like a building literally right next to it. Well, both have a building right
Hmm.
next to it. I remember people used to get up in the garage. There's like a little shaft above it where you can like kind of like walk on the pipelines across.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
People used to do it there all the time. But yeah, Modern Warfare 2, nostalgic.
All right, so post MW2, post Black Ops, did you play a lot of game battles for MW3? Were game battles like a big thing in MW3?
I did play a fair bit, but again, the people I played with in Black Ops 1, they stopped playing in Black Ops 3 or Modern Warfare 3.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
that's when I got stuck in the S&D lobbies where I just played like public match S&Ds with a bunch of like complete grinders. Like they get on all day and like we'd just run 6-man stacks
Wow.
and just win 6-0 to later, and it'd be I guess 4-0 would it have been in Modern Warfare 3?
Yeah, 4 or 5 probably.
4-0, 4-0, 4-0, 4-0, 4-0, and then I started playing again. What's the next game? Would that have been Black Ops 2 next?
Yeah, BO2.
Black Ops 2 I started playing a lot competitively again with a guy who's like a doctor now, I'm pretty sure.
Wow, this is still on Xbox?
This was still on Xbox. It didn't switch over to Xbox One until the second half of Ghost or something like that.
Maybe.
But Black Ops 2 we played a lot of. Black Ops 2 is my favorite game in COD.
Wow. Would you say you have the most
I,
time into that game?
Yeah, it wouldn't show it maybe in the public. Well, I maxed out my prestige in that game,
Okay.
reset and maxed out again, and then I was playing like every day. I would play with these two kids from LA, and I would get home from work at Walmart at like 9, and we'd play until 4 in the morning.
Every day?
And then I'd wake up at 4 p.m. in the afternoon.
Oh, and you'd work evenings?
And then I'd work evening. Well, at that time, I was only working like 2 days a week. Like, we were still pretty young.
Yeah, and then when did you make the change back to PlayStation?
PlayStation was it was my third year of university, maybe fourth.
Mm-hmm.
So third or fourth year university was like.
What title was that? Was that World War II?
It was
or
Modern Warfare Remastered.
Okay, you weren't there for the start of MWR though, were you?
Not for the start, no.
Okay, yeah, I think I remember that change because I was about to get a PlayStation for the start of World War II, but I didn't because some girl on the internet was, whatever. She was weird. But yeah, because I think when you were playing Black Ops 2, I was probably still playing more Halo at the time. I was just kept playing Halo Reach right into Halo 4.
Yeah,
I think that's probably what it was. Because I don't remember I don't even think I bought Black Ops 2.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys didn't play a whole lot of it. I remember Nick got an Xbox 360, and we tried to convince him to play with us for a bit.
Yeah, maybe.
But I remember around Black Ops 2 because like this is when everybody was still playing games, just no one was playing the same game. It felt like everybody's playing different games.
Yeah.
I remember just getting on and just like appearing offline. Like just getting online and appearing right offline. And just like not caring just because like I'd already made the commitment to sit here until 4 a.m. and play Black Ops 2.
Yeah, sure.
And Jeremy White used to always like spam me with invites, I remember.
Whitey.
Jeremy White. Who else was bad for spamming with invites? No, I just remember having a pretty active friends list at the time.
All right, so what was after Black Ops 2? What was the next game?
I think it's Ghost.
Oh yeah, it is Ghost. Did you play a lot of Ghost?
I played a lot of Ghost as well. And then I think Ghost was the best game I ever played.
Okay, before we talk about your experience with Ghost in particular, you talked about just like playing S&D lobbies in public match. Was that your form of like practice? Because like a lot of amateurs think like, okay, I want to go pro, but I don't have a stack. How do I even practice the game? So for you, it was just straight up playing public match?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I just liked to play competitively, but I didn't know anybody to play competitively, and I didn't want to keep going through the GB forums because people were idiots on the GB forums.
It is a rough way to find people to play with. Looking on messages.
It was a rough time, and then I started just playing S&D, and then I beat that team that just 6-man stacked, and then they just like there was 6 of them in the lobby, and we won like 4-3 or something like that, and then they just kicked one out. And they're like, do you want to play with us? I was like, all right. And then just because it was something to do. I think it was more not practice. I think it was just something to do.
And this was in Black Ops 2?
This was Modern Warfare 3.
Oh, Modern Warfare 3, yeah. And then Black Ops 2, did you play GBs or you just public match again?
Oh, Black Ops 2 was all GBs.
All GBs?
That's all I played. I played public matches by myself.
Did you have like a static team for that, or?
Yeah, I did. It was there was a guy named we took the name War.
Okay.
But there was a team called We Are Reckless with Huskers, Major Maniac, TJ, who was called Fios at the time. But we just called ourselves War as in like war. Like not We Are Reckless. There was no abbreviation to it. And it was me, a guy named Geckos, who was really young, and we kicked him off the team. A guy named like Flex or something like that, and he was like a bodybuilder, and he was becoming a doctor.
Jesus, have a day.
Yeah, he's kind of a douchebag. And then there was another guy, another really really young guy, but he was really good. He reminds me of like a Junos type character.
All right.
Like Junos is like a collective kind of quieter guy. Like
pretends
he's
to be
not
black?
like Yeah, he's kind of like Juno's. And then we ran a lot. Like I had a lot of top page teams on the GB on game battles, like just playing comp, respawns too, and then we just go like we would start a new team and try to go as positive as we can. We had like 10 or 15 actual people on the roster,
Okay.
but we had like we would try to go as many, like we did like 25-0, and then we lose one and then we just restart.
Wow,
Just try
man.
to
Wow.
play again.
25-0. That's getting up there in GB.
Yeah, that's probably like I wish I could still find my Game Battle's original name
What was it?
because the
Star Army?
records. No, that's my original RuneScape name. It's
That
actually a
might have carried
solid one
over.
that I stole from the Boys and Girls Scout guy.
Is it Taxing Zero?
I wish.
It's a
That's
good
another good
handle.
one. Zach
Yeah.
Kramer actually has that handle on
What
one
about
of the
Wow,
most.
I Am Great?
Yeah, that's the handle it's under. But
you
I
played
checked.
you played Black Ops GBs as Wow, I Am Great.
Yeah, wow, I am great.
Did anybody talk shit about
Yeah,
your dumb username?
every single time. It was the worst decision I ever made.
You couldn't lose a game if your name's Wow, I Am Great. You couldn't get killed.
Yeah. Yeah, it was bad. I had like a lot of accounts though in Black Ops 2. Like I was on like a trail of just making new accounts. I don't know why. I can't remember the reason. But I had Wowzers. I had Wow I'm Great. I had No Problem Bro.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
I
that one.
had Doyle's Skipping.
Doyle skipping. The Doyle rules.
There's a lot of them, but I don't
That's
know.
funny.
But yeah, we played a lot, and that's when I knew I was pretty good at competitive games.
All right, going into Ghost, did you keep
FPS.
the stack from Black Ops 2?
Yeah, well, we dropped the Geckos guy because he was too young and
That was at
annoying.
the start of Ghost?
That was like at the end of Black Ops 2.
Okay.
But we dropped him, and we picked up these two older guys. I can't even remember their names. Maybe like Ghosty or something. I can't remember this guy's name, but they're like two older guys, and it was like the only game that I think I played an AR in.
Really?
Like, yeah, I always play a sub and like an aggressive sub,
Yeah.
but I just used the Remington. And I remember beating. I remember playing doubles with someone else and beating a guy named Nexus or Nex or something like that. He used to be like he was a COD pro in the past that tried to come back in Ghost.
Yeah.
And we beat him on his stream, and like the guy I was playing with went like 1-7, and I went like 13-2 or something like that. And then the guy like the chat was like defending us because the streamer kept calling saying I was hacking. And like his chat's like they're not hacking.
That's
Like,
so
and
dumb.
it was just because I was like randomly just like I would sprint up the map and just get, because like twos, right?
Yeah.
Ghost is a game where you cut maps. Like every map you can cut it right in half and watch it to see if anybody crosses. Like sight lines are really bad in that game.
Okay.
And I would just try to like sprint and guess in the only sight line that they wouldn't be in. And it probably looked bad because I got it right. Like,
So you just get like phenomenal timing for an entire map.
phenomenal timing for an entire map and two-piece them.
Yeah, I mean, but like you're saying, if you can cut the map and you get by the sight lines, you will you will be able to shoot people in the back at least once.
Yeah, and we played a lot of Ghost. But then in Ghost, it was when the summer hit. That was our grade 12 year.
Okay.
So I stopped playing games. Like the summer I don't know, it was our summer before university. So we always, I guess like everybody took as much time as they could off, and I just stopped playing games. I got to university and lived in the dorm with Jeff.
Yeah, you had
and
shitty internet.
I wasn't playing competitive games in that room where the TV's right in the middle of the fucking room.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't something I was interested in.
Yeah, definitely.
Then I ended up selling the Xbox at one point too.
And then
I never played games.
You went from did you buy an Xbox again, or is that when you got the PlayStation?
I quit playing games until Modern Warfare Remastered came out, and I bought an Xbox. Specifically not because of Modern Warfare Remastered, but a guy at Sport Check wanted me to start playing Halo.
Okay.
Halo 5
but
with him, and I was like, oh,
that wouldn't have
sweet.
been at the start of Halo 5, though. Halo 5 was up for a long time.
No, it wasn't at the start. It was it was already out for a long
When
time
did Halo
for
5 come
sure.
out? Halo 5 came out when me and Digger were living together. I know that for a fact. And pretty early on. I feel like it was like a little bit like November 2014,
The
2015,
Master
November.
Chief Collection was out for a long
Yeah,
time as
Master
well
Chief
when I was playing
Collection came
Halo
out.
5.
Yeah, Master Chief Collection came out when I was living with Bill. So that was 2014. And then Halo 5 came out in 2015.
Yeah. So it was probably like it was like it was probably a few months before uh Modern Warfare Remastered came out, but someone asked me to play and I was like, "Oh, that'd be really fun." So I bought an Xbox One from Digital World.
Okay.
And didn't even have a mic because I didn't know if I really wanted to play games again.
Yeah.
And then we started playing a lot and I was like, "Okay, I got to go buy a mic." And I was always broke in my university,
Oh,
like
yeah,
always
for
broke
sure.
because I just
Definitely.
spent all my money all the time. Like whenever I had money, it was gone.
Pizza.
Yeah, pizza, drinking, like the
Yeah,
cellar,
man.
like
Drinking's
it
too
just
expensive.
money is just gone all the time. So I asked Casey, I was like, "Can you just go pick me up a headset after work?" And she was like, "Yeah, I can do that." And I was like, "Okay, cool."
Thank you.
So I started playing that. Modern Warfare Remastered came out. Played that. And then about halfway through the Modern Warfare Remastered season, I ended up messaging you guys.
Yeah.
And then I just traded some of my Xbox for a place. No, I actually just bought a PlayStation.
Yeah, I remember you buying the PlayStation because that's when Nick started streaming a little bit, and
Yeah.
his little degen streams on the PlayStation, where you
Yeah.
just get pumpernickeled in pubs, but or not pubs, but GVs. No, they were actually pretty good. Tyler and Nick, they had they were just so practiced and so formulated in GVs for doubles MWR, man. Like they had no choice but to be good eventually.
Yeah, and then I started playing with them, and Nick hyped me up probably too much.
Yeah, man.
Because I hadn't played like any COD in so long, and I couldn't. It was hard for me to switch, and I still don't like the PlayStation controller.
No, I hate
it doesn't
the
fit my
PlayStation
hands
controller,
right.
man. I
It does
hate
not
it.
fit my hands right at all.
Xbox 360 controller is so godlike, dude.
That's the problem. It's too good.
It is so good.
It was just so good that it ruined all my other wants of a controller. But then when World War II came out, Tyler was like, "Oh, this guy's good," kind of mentality. And then I just carried their asses all the World War II season.
MWR is a kind of a weird game though. Like it's so slow and it's so S and D or like it's only S and D. So, but
yeah,
it's actually like if you go into that game with the approach like, okay, I'm playing a super slow S and D COD. It's not a bad game, I don't find.
It isn't.
It's broken. The M16 is too good, and no M16, no AK-7 for you. It's fine,
Yeah,
honestly. But
yeah, that's true. That's a pretty good point. Well, we went back and played it a few different times,
yeah.
and when we came back and played it, we were a lot better because I was good at COD again.
And your map, like everybody's map awareness would just develop over time, like playing different game.
So like World War II was out near the end of the World War II season. Like we had our fun and our troubles.
Yeah.
And then we went back to it and like we beat like a bunch of like top page teams, like because the people that were playing it were sweating. Like like you would post one map and it would sit there for like 40 minutes. And then someone would accept it and it would be the sweatiest team, like 40-1. And we ended up beating a couple of them just like because like you have 2 minutes and like is it 3 minutes and 30 seconds or 2 minutes and 30 seconds?
I think it might be like 3 minutes.
It's so long.
Yeah.
And like there's like one scenario I remember because we played World War II and we're used to playing fast. And I remember like Nick and Tyler both died, and I had an M16 and I just laid there for a minute just watching one door. I get a kill and like we're all thinking, oh, I gotta run. I still have like a minute and 40 seconds of this round left. And then I just slowly creep around every corner, just like one bursting people, like both people, like 30 seconds apart. But
no, it's a completely slow game. 2v2 might be too small of a game to play that slow. But I had some fun playing them. We used to play like the scrims. That's when I started. That was the first time I played COD in so long, dude. Because the last COD I ever bought before Black Ops 4 was Advanced Warfare. That was a while ago.
I didn't even buy Advanced Warfare. I missed all the jetpack games.
Yeah, I didn't get Black Ops 3. I didn't play Black Ops 3.
No, I have them all now
Yeah, well, get
because
them on
I got
sale. You might as
promised
well.
throwback tournaments from the league we will not speak about.
No, we'll talk about
But
it. Yeah, like okay, let's actually talk about that for a second. When Nick is hyping up Doyle in these scenarios, as much as people thought it was a baloney because trying to put Doyle into the super slow MWR, we played Black Ops
yeah,
4 in a league that I like. Just to give whoever's listening to this, in case you don't know me, which you probably do, because I only get like 30 views and it's just me watching 25 times, everybody else watching it once. But I made this weird little in-house thing where because we didn't really want to play games with other people that much, I made a little in-house thing that kept track of win-loss to balance the teams as best that we could. But we had a couple people who were just way better than others and a couple people that really just couldn't hang. So I tried to open it up a little bit to a few people on Reddit, which actually worked out pretty good. Like Maddie and
yeah.
Doge, they were decent to play with. Like they're at least they were bodies.
Junos came in.
Yeah,
He
Junos
was
came
good.
in, and so I was like, okay, this is we're doing pretty good, but it got super stale because you can only play in house 4v4 on a 5v5 game for so long. We tried it for like a month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah.
I did the league where we had like 6 30 players, 5 captains. Is that what it was? Six captains.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Something
six
like
captains,
that.
5-man stacks, and Doyle was the best player in the league by far. So just put that in perspective for everybody listening. I did have a league because I wanted to try to tie like the business approach to esports or whatever the hell I was thinking. But Doyle was still the best player in the league, so note that.
Yeah.
Why do you think you're so much better than everybody in the league? Because I know that when you're playing with your friends, obviously somebody's going to be better at the game.
Yeah.
But when you go into a league, what are the chances that the guy's friend of the guy running the league is just by far the best player?
Well, it's rigged.
It wasn't rigged though. You're dropping like 4 KD.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was. I'm really good when games first start.
Okay.
And you could try to say that there wasn't much skill in the first season, which I'll agree there was definitely some players that did not deserve
Oh
anywhere
yeah,
near.
definitely. But there was a decent at least
But
the
like
people were trying hard.
we had Junos, we had Versus, we had Hidden.
Mm-hmm. As much as I
There was
wanted it to
good
make the league
players.
casual, it wasn't that casual. Like the boys wanted to take
No.
it seriously, so
Yeah, there was people that wanted to take it
way
more
too seriously,
than
way
others.
too seriously than I wanted it to be.
I think the game when it first came out really catered me as well
Mm-hmm.
because the SOG was good.
Oh yeah,
Double stock was still legal,
double stock was
and
filthy.
the Annihilator was legal.
Oof.
And I used all of those. So it helped out a lot. And then when the league started getting,
when we went to season 1 and the guys, they didn't understand my point of view on pre-made stacks.
Yeah, pre-made
they
stacks.
They didn't understand that, and I was like, and I wanted to. I still wanted to do 1 game a week because I kept telling them, I was like, boys, this isn't supposed to be the league where all your focus is into. This is the league where you find people to play GBs with, and then you can do that for 5 days a week. You come here and you play for 1, and that's like it's like it's like a feeder system. Like, guys, your skill will match up. If you get into a fight with some dude, you have the access to pick up somebody else your skill from this league. But at the same time, to keep the thing going, to give back a little from what you took from me, you play 1 game a week on a team that you don't have that much investment into, besides the fact that it's feeding you players on your GB team. That was supposed to be the point of it.
Yeah.
And I thought the idea was fine. It's like, it's fine.
It was great. It was perfect. It was what it needed to be. And then people took it really serious. And it's weird. The people that took it serious are the people that weren't even close to the best players.
No, but they thought they were. And that's
they thought they were.
I didn't know that coming into COD, that people were so toxic and so full of themselves, until I started to think about it. I was like, okay, COD's so personality driven by these really, really good top tier players in Nadeshot and Scump and Optic and whatever, that they want to be like them no matter what. To be like them, you have to act like you're the best. So they did, and they weren't.
Like the best players in the league. Well, the best player in the league, and I still think this is Ajax. I think Ajax can be better than everybody else.
I think if we would have saw him in season 0, I would have had more thought on that, but I didn't see a whole lot of him because he was.
I think Ajax is really good. I think Junos is really good. Actually, I tried to play me, CJ, Ajax, and Junos. We're gonna play season 2 or 3 or something like that of the NACAL, but we tried it, and I don't know why, but we couldn't win at all. It made no sense because we were all good, but the roles just didn't make sense. We couldn't find an AR that knew how to play like an AR.
Mm-hmm. Nick
And I
wasn't
still
around,
think
or
no, Nick was playing. Nick was I forget what it was,
baseball season
but
started?
Nick, yeah,
Maybe.
something like that. I feel like he was just always busy and stopped
Yeah.
playing pretty much completely. Him and Tyler both.
Well.
So I was just playing a lot with CJ,
Mhm.
and then I was like, CJ, do you want to try this season? Or there was something else. Like people were like disbanding from the NACAL and going to another league with Seth as one of like the main people
Okay.
that was running it, and that was the league we were gonna do. And we were playing with a guy named Contacts, who
Yeah,
was
I think I
just
saw him
like
before, maybe.
he was just like really, really toxic, like really, really toxic. Like would just call people out, and we argued over the stupidest stuff because I just wanted him to be an AR, and then I ended up switching to like an AR role, and that just did not like I was not playing well. So Junos and Objects were just like, we're just not gonna play. There's no point. Like
Yeah.
this is just not
Especially at
gonna
their,
run
like,
well.
how old is Ajax?
I don't know. I think they're both in high school.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's different. Like, high school people are so quick to just drop. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it
I
is
don't
what it
even
is.
blame them. It was
No.
just like, and I still don't blame them. I think Juno's a cool guy, and Objects just never talks, so who knows what's going on with him. But yeah, I think it was fine. I think there was a team that could have happened as well that I think would have worked out super, super well. But me and CJ kind of just disappeared because I just kind of got bored of COD
Yeah.
near the
Now going
end.
into MWR or MW, the new one, whatever it's called, Modern Warfare 5, 10, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
But anyway, the new Modern Warfare game, Doyle. What's the approach?
I don't know. I think it's more just the competitive scene won't start until after January.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be no rules really written. I think it's more just feeling out the game
Like
and seeing
pubs? Are
what
you
we're
gonna
gonna
are you gonna
need.
try to find a team
Oh,
for
I'll play
GBs?
pubs all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna find players from pubs,
No.
but like I would love to play with Nuggets, but he's in Cali and he's gonna want to play with people from
Yeah, you could
Cali if he
really do
wants
that
to
in the
play.
weekend if you really wanted to.
Yeah, like he wants to play. Like I know he wants to play with people from Cali. He doesn't want to wake up. He doesn't want to start playing COD at 2 o'clock his time when it's 6 o'clock our time
Yeah,
on a
for sure.
weekend. And that's fine. I like Nuggets though. We play like Nuggets was a part of a team that could have happened, where it would have been me, CJ, Nuggets, Ajax, or sorry, it's me, CJ. How was this team built? It was me, CJ. Oh, because Junos wasn't playing with Ajax at the time, so there was a team of three. It was Ajax, Nuggets, and Raw,
Okay.
and they wanted to play with me and CJ, and we did play, and we were playing like fine, but there was just nothing to play. So me and CJ just kind of stopped, and we didn't want to play GBs, so we just stopped playing, and the team dissolved.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think Modern Warfare, the tactic will be. I think it'll be as long as CJ wants to still play. I don't know what CJ's doing,
Mm-hmm. I think he
but
will.
I think he will. He'll get
Yeah.
bored. It's probably going to be me, CJ, and Nick
Yeah.
looking for two, and then just playing the game publicly until we find out what we need for two players.
I find games like Boots on the Ground MW style, I find pubs run a lot better in that game for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just find the pubs are more enjoyable in those kind of games.
Well, I played a lot. Like I was kind of surprised with the amount of fun I had in World War II pubs. I played a lot of it like just by myself. Like me and Casey would be having drinks at the house, and I would just play pubs by myself, like because they had contracts that you could do. There was something to grind always.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You need something to grind. That's why when I heard microtransactions and MW, I was just like, God, please
Supposedly
no.
it's strictly cosmetic.
I hope.
But
like even that though. Like I know it's in 2019. I can understand that it's selfish for me to say I do not want in-game purchases. Because at the end of the day, if I don't want them, I don't have to get them. So if you're a developer, you can say I'm just gonna, or not a developer, I guess I can't really blame Infinity Ward. If you're the publisher in Activision and you want them in the game, you can say just don't buy them. But as soon as you start making things accessible to people who do not want to grind, that's just what kind of sucks it out a little bit. Like, remember how disappointed we were when we grinded zombies camos, and then we, especially you, and then we realized them in private match you could use them. I was just like, I wanted to throw up. I straight up wanted to puke on the floor.
I literally just played like a day drink.
Yeah.
And just run trains and zombies.
And it's still fun though. It's fun. I like to do that because you get the camo and you get it. You're like, this is the holy grail in my life right now. This camo.
I was just going for that one camo. And a lot of pro players do the same thing. They had this idea that they're like everybody already has whatever that. What's that camo called? Dark Matter or something like that. It's like the camo for getting all the gold guns.
Yeah, that's Dark Matter.
And like I think it was Flash who was like, I'm just gonna do zombie camos because like everybody's gonna have that one camo. I want to have something different. But I think the big problem, and I have no real way to make this claim, but I think it's true, is the fact that microtransactions for cosmetics are fine when the developer still tries to make the camos that you work for really, really cool.
Yeah.
And I think some of the camos, this game wasn't too bad for it, but especially the camos in World War II sucked.
Okay.
Like everything cool was cosmetic. Everything cool was cosmetic. Like everything was buyable. Like you could buy COD points and get it.
Okay.
And I think that's bogus.
Yeah, the reactive camos were pretty cool in Black Ops 4.
Reactive camos are pretty cool, but a lot of them are just ones that you can only purchase now.
Yeah, that is true.
Like Mastercrafts specifically, I don't think you can get Mastercrafts.
Mastercrafts are a fantastic idea. They're a great, Mastercrafts are a great idea. Not in boxes though.
Not in boxes, like weapons. Like you can only get certain weapons by getting lucky to get them in a loot box.
That is ridiculous, honestly. But somebody who only plays comp, you're like, I don't I don't care. When I said it to Nick, I was like, I straight up refunded my pre-order because I don't want to take that risk. Like I want to know if it's on sale on Christmas, I will buy it, but I want to know before that whether or not I'm going to get ripped off on PC. And he's like, well, I don't care. What's microtransaction? I'm just going to play game battles in comp anyway. And I was like, yeah, but a lot of people don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. I'm interested to see how it works out, but I think me, CJ, and Nick will be fine. As long as Nick plays the game. Nick's good when he plays the game.
I think Nick will want to be good at MW because that's Nick's freaking legacy. I know Nick's going to listen every minute of this PCast, Nick, so when you're listening, Nick's claim to fame is the nukes in MW2. Now, if Nick can't drop a nuke in MW, kid's trash.
Yeah. I think the only reason Nick stopped being, like, good at this game, or I don't think he's bad by any means, but I mean in the sense, like, where he could keep up with like the Junos and like the cracked out.
All the guys were putting players. 8 hours a day minimum.
Yeah,
into it,
the only reason he stopped is he had a busy year this year.
Yeah,
like he bought
a house. For sure.
He bought a house. They won nationals. He was going on trips like 2 or 3 times.
Yep.
Like I think he went for March break and he went to Spain.
Spain boys.
He also played. He said 62 games this season.
Yeah, Nick played for Spain in the FIBA World Cup.
Wow.
No.
Nick won the FIBA World Cup gold medal.
Yeah, good player.
Great to see, but he had a busy year, and as soon as you take time off this game, like it's so
especially
tough to get back.
Fast-paced kind of game style.
Yeah, it was super tough. Like I found, like I remember seeing like the tier list on the new NACAL league that they had that Norm was doing, and it was just like so arbitrary. Like I was like, oh, it just like pissed me off every time I looked at it. It pissed CJ off too because they put him in bad tier.
That's funny.
And we just didn't play.
CJ was a legend in season 0, man. Before we even knew the guy, I was like, I want CJ. Never heard him talk in my life. I want CJ.
Yeah, 100%. I was gonna pick CJ. I wanted CJ to get. I wanted Digger to pick CJ. I was like, if CJ's up, pick him.
CJ went pretty early because we kind of talked. Like I don't know if it was me and you or me and somebody. We went and like kind of went through all the names that were finalized for the draft just to give the other captains and people who are going to watch the stream like an idea of who they were. Because man, I would pull the viewers for those drafts. Those draft nights were hype, dude. I had like 60 viewers and a 60 person. Like everybody would watch. Everybody watched the draft. It was hype. Then Digger pulled his own goddamn name out of the hat, and I was like, "Come on, Digger, bro. Please don't pull please just don't pull your name out of the hat." I should have told him. I was like, "Digger, do not pull your name out of that hat first, or this whole thing's gonna go to shit."
Yeah, that really ruined the first season for me. Even season 0 for me, even though I won it, it's still it ruined it for me because in the sense that the first pick should be the best pick in the draft, but because the captains are playing, they're the first pick.
There's 2 ways you can go about that. It's either the captains suck, or the captains are coaches, and then the third possible way is the best players are forced to captain. But you have to understand, like, for people who are listening to this and they're like, well, who's this idiot ass admin who let Digger be a captain? But you have to think of it. I never ran anything. This was not developed. There was hardly anybody in the Discord at the time that I announced it.
And not many
So
people wanted to be
no,
captains.
nobody wanted to be a captain.
We had to find 2 captains that day.
That
did we not? Or was
one
that...
guy straight. Yeah, we had to get 2 guys to
disappeared?
captain because one guy went AFK and one guy like said like, "No, I'm just not gonna." He just left the league completely.
It wasn't like there was a bunch of players that should have stepped in. And in theory, I should have been a captain. Nick was a captain.
Nick was, but the idea that you and Nick kind of wanted to play together, so you didn't want to both be captain.
Yeah.
But I can't tell my friend Digger, who I know will do it because I just know he will. I can't be like, you cannot captain because you freaking suck at this game, dude. But in hindsight, if it wasn't season 0, I'll stress that again. It was season 0, undeveloped.
Yeah, season 0. Yeah.
Okay, people have to understand. 0. It was 0, not 1. It was test season. It was a quick 2-month test season that ran pretty smoothly. But in hindsight, I realized that was a brutal idea by me to do that. But
season 1 though would have ran perfectly.
Season 1 would have been phenomenal if I would have had dedicated casters because I just wanted to run the stream because it was hard for me to run this. I ran an entire playoff bracket on the mic, 6 hours. I was like, I'm dead tired, man.
Like season 1, 2, people are lucky. People are lucky it didn't happen because they would have just got ran.
Yeah, you guys would have ran.
I was gonna make if I didn't pick a Wando, man. If I picked, I could have picked Raw, but for some reason in my mind,
I don't know why you did that either.
I was just like bring in the vibes of the Wando, just because I thought I already had such a good team.
Yeah, you guys probably still would have won.
I was just like, we would have won, man. Yeah. It was me, Nick, and Ajax, and then I picked up this random dude as our 5th, who was like the bet. He could have easily went like as a 3rd pick for that team.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't even remember this kid's name, but he was solid.
Laser effect.
Yeah, laser effect.
Reed, dig deep.
Yeah, he was. We would have ran.
Yeah, you guys would have won for sure. You were good. Even in like preseason scrims, you were destroying people.
Yeah, we played Chico's team, just ran them. And then Chico ruined the NowCal.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day,
it's what it is.
When I lost, okay, just to summarize the recap of the league, last time I'll ever talk about this goddamn thing. But anyway, I lost interest in Black Ops 4 when I realized that I couldn't grind the game anymore past pubs because you can only play so many pubs. And I wasn't super into Blackout where it could like make me want to just play the game every day. And there was no rank at all, and that was discouraging me because like I know I talked about this 100 times, but it came from Dota 2 where it's so like matchmaking is so balanced and there's great ranking system and so many ways to watch pro players replays and stuff like that. That I came in and this was like, this is so far behind. But anyway, I understand that the COD community is just a lot different now, and it's not completely up to par with esports, but maybe franchising will allow it to be. So I have high hopes for it still. But anyway, the reason why Nikal failed, I lost interest in the game, and I was like, I'm not putting up with people being toxic if I'm not going to have fun in this. And there's too many toxic people. So I was like, Chico, if you want it, it's yours. I'm gone. And I sold my PlayStation like 2 days later.
Yeah, and we all dropped out of the league because we didn't want to be a part of it. It wasn't what we wanted to do. And then we I think that's what happened. We quit COD because there just wasn't, like, GBs weren't fun. Tyler didn't want to play anymore. Me, Nick, and CJ were just kind of tired of running, like, threes.
Yeah, the game was too hard for threes. Like, it was too big for threes, I thought.
And then I came back season 1, and I just joined the league because I didn't know how to. I kind of was being like, okay, it's toxic, but I'll just deal with it.
Everything's toxic in COD.
And then I got there and I joined, and they're like, we need some subs for playoffs, and I was like, sure, I'll be a sub for playoffs.
Let's go.
And then I got on Raw Galaxy's team, and it was Raw Galaxy, Mysteries, a guy named Astonish, and then someone else. I can't even remember the 5th, but it was just like we just clobbered every team in season 1.
Yeah.
And like I was sniping in matches.
Wow.
And like it was just like playing control and sniping.
BM.
Going positive. People were really like mad. Like this guy named Rizzle was in the middle of games going to the Twitch chat to talk to Chico. Saying like, tell this fucking idiot to take away his sniper. Like we just trolled the entire time. Then I won season 1.
Would you guys want to go into another league, or do you want to just do GBs?
I like leagues.
I like leagues.
I don't want to go into a league unless I know that we have a chance.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Like the last season, I left the last season because we didn't want to scrim. We just wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
There was 2 teams that were obnoxiously toxic, along with a lot of people that weren't on teams. Like Chico was literally just like arguing every day in chat with people, like in just general chat.
Yeah. When
Like
I would
just
argue with
arguing.
when I would argue with general chat as the admin man, I would do it so sarcastically and so passive aggressively that people are just like, I hate this guy. So I know where Chico's coming from when he wants to argue, but if you're gonna argue with the people in your league, you have to take like a super, super casual approach to it.
And it was not. It was
No,
like
I know. I went back and read a little bit of it when Chico asked me to do the graphic design.
It was bad. It was cringy, and all I usually put was LOL.
Yeah.
Where
Oh,
you
that
guys
would
are
piss
weird.
COD
I put a lot
players.
of guys. A lot of you guys are weird in there.
You're weirdos.
And then Seth was like, "Hey, we want to do another season. Do you want to come on as like a mod and just be like
community manager or whatever?
Not a community manager, like a second opinion, I guess.
Okay,
like a count. I don't know what you would call them.
Like an
but
advisor.
He was, yeah, an advisor. And I was like, sure, that's fine. And then Chico just like, it was weird. He just wanted all the admins and mods to like run the league basically.
Yeah.
And it was like the final straw, I guess, and why he was gonna ban me from the league. But he was like, one day I was like, everybody, there was 2 days, 2 games a week. They told us a day ahead that we had to play these games.
Yeah.
And gave us our schedule.
That's why I liked one, because you would give people lots of time. Sunday afternoon, nobody does anything.
Exactly, yeah.
It's an amateur league, like, geez, boys.
And then I was like, okay, that's fine. And then every team, it was our team and a team, Mystery's team.
Mm-hmm.
There was 2 teams we were trying to play, and they just did, like, they wouldn't give us any availability. So I was just like, Chico, can I, like, another team offered to play like in advance with the schedule, and I was like, Chico, I'm just gonna play this team now so it doesn't screw up the scheduling in the future. And he's like, he got mad but didn't really show it, and he's like, just tell everybody they can play their games then. Yeah. And I was like, okay, don't worry about the schedule. Everybody can play their games whenever they want. Just make sure they're done by this date.
Which can work in a regular season. I mean, it's online. It really doesn't make too much of a difference.
Yeah. And then it didn't work for one of the other mods. And because one of these teams was still just like scumbagging them. But instead of Chico wanting to make a rule against it, he instead wanted me to tell everybody that they forfeit their matches, because I was the one decided that they all could just play their matches whenever they wanted just before Sunday.
Wow.
So I said I'm not doing that, and said he was funny.
Uh-huh.
And then later in the day, he sent me a message saying, "Hey, I'm trying to make." Actually, I have a picture of this.
Yeah, I saw it.
It's like, "Hey, I'm trying to make." Let me bring it up. I don't want to misquote him. That's rude.
All right. While you do that, I'd like to say I don't like when I had my interactions with Chico. Right, I don't mind Chico as a person, like talking to Chico one-on-one. I don't mind the guy. He just didn't have like we had completely different mindsets on what an amateur startup Call of Duty league should be, and he wanted to be professional as possible, and he wanted to make money, which is something I knew that for me to make money from NACIL, because it was so small, like that was just my way of expressing myself creatively. Like I wanted to do the pictures and I wanted to do the stream, and it was pretty, like it was decent. The stream was good. That was the thing. I wanted all the games to be back to back on Sunday. So if you wanted to watch amateur Call of Duty, you knew it was Sunday night, and it was at the exact same time. Yeah, and everybody would watch. We had viewers consistently for every game, and people love to watch the replays. So I was like, if we can get a system where everybody gets to watch themselves play competitive Call of Duty once a week on a team where you don't have to love it because you're still grinding GB 6 days a week and not on stream. So you get to it's kind of like a showcase, you know what I mean? That's what it was supposed to be. And as soon as I realized, like, okay, I cannot express myself creatively without pissing off a bunch of guys that I could care less what they think. So I was like, whatever. But yeah, back to Chico, I guess.
Yeah, and then he sent me a message. He said, "Hey, so I'm just trying to keep the mod team as tight, and I think you may best fit when COD Modern Warfare is released rather than right now. But we'll have you as a community helper." And he gave me the role without like me seeing this yet. Mm-hmm. So I messaged him back. I said, I actually, before this, I was going, because I was just getting annoyed. Like, we had this conversation earlier, and I was just going to remove the mod rule from myself. Yeah. Because I was just like, I don't want to do this. Like, this is stupid. And then he gave me another role, took my mod off, gave me like 2 other roles. And I was like, nah, I was going to remove the role myself. I don't want to help anymore. He said, okay. And I said, can you take my community helper role off too? He said, already did. I said, perfecto.
Mhm.
And then he went back into the mod chat and said he was going to ban me because I didn't have any good
And I was
ideas.
still in there because he gave me creator privileges. I could have deleted the server.
And then I told Seth, I was like, yeah, well, I don't really care much about the league anymore because I'm getting banned, because me and Seth were teaming at the time.
Yeah, that is true.
And I was like, I don't really care much about the league, so I'm just gonna like probably, because I'm gonna get banned, so I'm just gonna be toxic. He's like, how do you know you're gonna get banned? And I was like, because I know. And he's like, I'm not gonna get you banned. And I'm like, like you can do whatever you want, but
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, and then we had a team. It kept getting more toxic, and everybody in the league was getting more toxic. And I just like left the court without saying anything. I didn't leave any teams, didn't delete any teams. I just left the court.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That was it.
Yeah, as we try to end this on a more positive note than that, one thing I
don't have a problem. He ran the league fine. I don't want to make him seem like the league isn't going to be successful, because it still can be successful.
Oh yeah, it can be.
Do what you want. I think bringing back the OGs was not a good idea, because we wanted it one way, he wanted it the other. And I'm not going to get mad. I'm not mad. I'm not spiteful about it.
No.
I think it's just weird. Like, it was just a lot of weird stuff going behind my back and stuff, and telling the mods you're going to ban me ahead of time when I didn't say anything ever in the court.
No, for sure.
Like, it was just a weird scenario.
The second that you make the league cost money is the second that it's going to fall off.
It gets toxic.
It gets too toxic, because it doesn't matter how much money people are playing, like if it's how much you paid to play or how much you can win. The second that you let pre-made stacks come in with their money on the table, there's no way that 6 to 10 teams are going to get along. It's just, I knew that, and that's why I didn't do it. But if it's free and people are playing once a week, it will get along. Will it grow substantially overnight? No, it won't. But the 30 to, I mean, if I ran it for 3 seasons, I could get up to 100 or 120 if I really
active
wanted
people.
to.
Yeah, easily.
You could.
It could have been.
Like we got 60 overnight, it seemed. But anyway.
Yeah.
It's 2 different approaches.
He has a different approach, and that's fine. I just think as it was more COD, and again, I'm 23. I don't want to have drama with someone online.
Yeah, definitely not.
So I just kind of like left the court, in the sense that we don't have any real personal like attachment to each other.
Yes, like when I was gone,
it's just going to stop the drama.
Yeah, as soon as I was gone, there was no connection left. I mean, it was just another league.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It seems like it'll do successful in the future. He's got plans. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's a grinder. If you want to grind out a league, it will work eventually. It's just 2 different approaches at the end of the day. But anyway,
we had an approach where I think it was going to be something different.
It would have been a lot of fun if we kept it going. It would have been a lot of fun.
It was
especially going into MW.
Everybody was doing.
Yeah, if we would have got that going in MW, man, that would have been fun.
Yeah, if you think there's a difference with the AGL league and like all those other leagues compared to the NACL, you can try to make that point. I think our league would have been much different, and it had a really cool.
It would have catered to everybody. Like, it's hard to convince 23-year-old competitive players that they should like grind that hard.
Yeah.
When you have a full-time job, but you can still be good enough. Like, you're an example of someone who, even though they're not grinding, well, you still play. Like, you play a good amount of the game on the weekend and at night. But there's always going to be somebody who's grinding more than you because they're in high school and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can be as good as them, but you're not going to take it as seriously as them. And the second that you stop taking it as seriously as them is when it gets toxic. Because if somebody's taking it more serious than you are and you beat them, I'm not going to name drop, but somebody lost 5v4 on their host and quit the league and blamed it all on me because they had a stand-in that completely shit on them. It's not my problem. You suck. Okay, anyway. To wrap this up, Doyle, one approach that Nick and Tyler in particular took to game battles that I understood, because I love playing games with my friends as much as the other person. They didn't want to expand into people they didn't know, but I tried to convince them, like, you only don't know somebody until you play with them a couple times. Because I had that experience in Dota where when I joined the Dota League for the first time, we played with people we didn't know, but after a couple games, you get along because you know their player. You don't even need to know them personally. You just need to know their play style, and then you can start having conversations about the game, which leads into other things, stuff like that. But they were just so dead set on no. Do you care at all about that? I have written down as playing competitive with randoms / playing with friends. Do you have any preference either way?
I like playing COD with random people. I like playing COD with Nick and Tyler a lot.
Yeah.
and that because they're actually good.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like playing with Nick and Tyler when we start losing or we're not good, because I've played a lot of COD with just random people.
Yep.
And when you're with random people, you can be really, you can critique them in a non-sarcastic way, and it can become out rude, and they'll get over it.
Because
And you don't have to really worry about their feelings.
Because it's a different mindset when you're playing with somebody you don't know.
But like when we start losing, I don't want to be that guy, but I know I am that guy that just gets annoyed and slams his hand on his desk because he's just so annoyed of losing. And we didn't do a whole lot of that. Like in Black Ops 4, it was fine. In World War II, there was way too many pros to think that we ever had a bad time.
Yeah.
I definitely fought with one particular person named Rance and Hans a lot, but
but everybody fights with Ransom
we had
sometimes.
A lot of fun.
That's just Ransom's personality.
Even when we played with Ransom, we had a lot of fun games. Like we lost our minds, like laughing sometimes.
The reason why Ransom is so hot and cold is because of how much he cares about winning.
He's a competitive guy as well.
Man,
like,
he wants to win.
Competitive in every factor.
He wants to win.
In Smash Bros.
That's why I like that's why me and Ransom see eye to eye on a lot of things, is because we know that if you want to win, you got to grind.
Yeah, the only reason me and Ransom argued is that I had the mindset of
you were better.
Yeah, well, that's factors in that, but I think it was more that he thought the game had to be played one way when I thought there was just a really obvious reason we were losing, and it was just that we weren't getting kills.
And this was when we had
fun, in World War II, when we had fun though, we were laughing our ass. Like the whole team laughed their ass off.
Yeah, your ceiling of fun you can have with your friends is probably higher than randoms, but it can definitely the lowest of lows can be also that too.
The only night that was bad was when Ransom got mad at Tyler, and Tyler was just pissed, just unplugged his mic and it just left the party.
Yeah,
literally he was gonna quit COD over it.
Yeah,
but no, we had a lot of fun. I like, again, I guess your real point was, what do you like playing more? I think now I like playing a lot more with friends.
Yeah, you already had the time where you grinded with randoms.
Yeah, and like I know COD's never going to be a profession, so when this year it came out and it was just a lot of fun we were always having fun. That was fun. That was probably the like when the first league came out, that was like, it's already nostalgic. It's already like
it is, man. It seems like a dream. That's those 4 to 5 months that I ran Nacal, man. Those actually seem like I kind of, when I see that pop up on my Twitter feed, I'm like, I own this. Like I know the logo and everything's different, but that's mine. I made that. It is kind of weird.
Just starts like slowly taking it back.
Yeah, I copyright.
Start taking like your email back and stuff.
No, I gave everything to him. I have no attachment to it. I have no way to get into any of those folders, or I don't want to. I'm not gonna try, but it's all gone.
Yeah, that's like now it's definitely playing with friends. Like CJ became one of the boys.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's what I tried to tell them.
Funny as hell. Like,
I like listening to CJ. The best part of watching the streams is hearing like CJ and Verse converse with you guys about things that happened in our lives, and them laughing at stories that I experienced. Like when you, Nick, and Tyler are telling stories about whatever, and they're laughing at it, I'm like, that's funny. Because the stories are funny.
That's what's sad. I wish Verse came back.
Yeah, Verse is a homie, bro.
Verse is fucking funny, man.
Yeah. The
amount of times like Verse would like, in the background, like Casey would sneeze and Verse would be like, "Bless you." I'd be like, "Stop playing with your girlfriend." Like Verse was just like we had such, I think, like a good we had a good dynamic.
It was a great team chemistry.
Like it was really good chemistry, and even if we came back and Verse wanted to play COD, which I think Verse will one day show back up, I think at
least to play pubs, he might buy the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think it was just a good dynamic, and it was always really, really fun playing with them. I hope he comes back. I hope CJ wants to play, and us just look for one, because I don't think Tyler ever play COD again in his life.
I don't think he'll go hard. He might buy the game, but I don't know if he'll go. He'll try to go hard, maybe, if he gets it, but
yeah. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe I'll at Verse again when this gets posted, and I'll at the timestamp, and
I'll do like, you know what Hex does, where he clips like individual parts of the podcast and then titles them and clickbait. I'll do one. First come back.
First come back. Yeah. versus just two grinding RuneScape and League of Legends. That's all
Man,
I
it
see
is
him
a
do now.
RuneScape. Oof, that's a real grind right there.
That is a grind, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just the last talking point on that, playing with randoms or friends. You guys, like, the reason why I think you guys had that balance chemistry wise is because you did find that middle ground between, you had two friends. They had Nick, Tyler, Doyle had the stack of them three which they wanted, and that also was made possible with getting two others to have the 5 stack for Black Ops, and the two randoms fit in so well that it kind of seemed like you weren't playing with randoms.
Yeah.
And that's
100%.
why the chemistry was so good.
Yep.
Yeah, Doyle, okay, where can people find you if this thing blows up and you're the next whatever, bro?
I don't know. I don't use social media. I have a Twitter
Okay.
that I don't use.
It'll be linked. Everything will be linked below. I'll do it for him. He doesn't got to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I deleted my Twitter way back in the day because I wanted employers to at least work hard to find the bad things about me.
That's funny.
I didn't want them just to be able to pull up a Twitter and go, yeah, it's easy.
Look at this weirdo.
I want them to at least have to archive things and go through the archives and at least try to find all the terrible things.
You want to get into a conversation about the deep web, do you, Doyle?
Yeah, of course. And then now I just have a Twitter that I just follow. Basically the pro scene on. People follow me and I politely follow them back. Kobe got a little mad because I didn't follow him back.
Dog 20.
But yeah, so it's probably something like Doyling _ because I don't have any of the Doyling.
Yeah, I got your Twitter.
A guy named Doyling has everything.
This is for audio only, by the way, because I have the Doyle's Twitter in the overlay for a video. So, well, last thing I asked Colby before we ended was, where do you see yourself video games wise in 5 years, which would bring you to 27, 28?
2027, 28.
28.
I don't know. I think what's weird right now is I feel like I used to love story games.
Uh-huh.
And I don't like those anymore. I don't know why.
I think you just got to get the right one.
I've been trying, and like I have you don't know how many, like Spider-Man. That's true. I got really into Spider-Man and beat that really fast. But I feel like I'll get more immersed into those games. I feel like video games will probably, hopefully, never take a backseat. That'd be sad to say. Not playing video games anymore for life.
Do you think you'll follow the pro scene in 5 years, or not necessarily COD, but a competitive form of video games?
I hope so. I hope it becomes bigger than it needs to be. I hope that the CDL doesn't ruin things.
Well, even if it does, COD will live in some form.
I worry that when I get older, I won't watch as much COD because the players I like won't be playing anymore.
That's what kind of happened with me in Melee too. It was just like I want to watch the boys. Well, until the new
2K's gone.
When the new doc comes out, when the new doc comes out, that's supposed to come out like a year ago or whatever. I'll give it a watch, just as like something to do.
That'd be interesting.
I'll give it a watch.
I like some of the new players. I like Wizrobe. I like
Wizzy, but if you don't play the game, that's the biggest part. Like I don't play,
that's it.
So
I could find I'm sure there's going to be a new game out that I'll like, and the scene will be developed, and I'll probably be a Blizzard title.
Probably. I mean, I don't know though. They tried their hand in FPS and it didn't really work.
Yeah, I think it worked. I think they just.
Oh yeah, the game is good. I'm not saying the game
just can't figure it out.
Yeah.
I think it's just like Apex viewership. They can't figure it out. No. They don't know what to do.
Well, the structure behind like BRs that involve like kill points, stuff like that. I love the idea of 100 competitive players dropping in the same map and battling it out. Like when you see those, like the Fortnite World Cup and the Fortnite like whatever, like those summer, what's that?
Yeah, there's like 50 people left with like, and the storms already has
those are hype. Like those are
now
extremely.
It's at a point where it's opening up and
those
closing.
Are extremely hype. When everybody's in one game, you're not worried about like kill cam and stuff like that. That's hype. Same thing with PUBG when they tried that. Like PUBG did before Fortnite. Nobody realized that because they're all little weenie kids. But anyway, PUBG was the king of putting a bunch of people in one spot one time and letting the pro players battle it out, and that was fun to watch.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I just hope there's a game that I'll like.
I think there will be.
Yeah, I think there'll be someone. I think someone will take it on there. Like who knows? Bungie might decide that they wanna another take after Destiny. Supposedly there is rumors that Bungie has another title they're working on within the FPS genre.
Yeah, I think I heard that.
So
I know that
don't know.
Microsoft did contact Bungie to help them with Infinite, so
Yeah, hopefully. Who knows? Yeah,
maybe.
that game hasn't released yet.
No,
There'll be the Switch is starting to get out there. Nintendo products are coming out.
the Halo Reach is
Who
being added to
knows?
MCC here any day now.
Yeah, there's so many things that are
Yeah,
happening.
lots on the
But I
horizon
don't
for
think I'll
sure.
stop. I don't think I'll stop watching games. I love games. Games are my television. Games are my
Yeah,
they're
I don't
my
watch TV.
media.
I
They're
watch
my
Twitch.
media.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's my
NBA,
media.
NBA
So
and
I
video
don't know
games is
where
the only
I'd be
thing I'll
going.
watch.
Yeah, pretty much the same.
I like when I stopped watching Melee, and the only pro scenes that I super followed was Dota for a bit. But Dota's so weird because you don't speak the same language as everybody who's actually good at the game. So like
Yeah.
you don't get any Chinese when you're trying to watch pro Dota. You don't get any Chinese content in NA because it's like so foreign. Like even the way they play Dota in China is super super weird. Same with SEA and some of Europe. So the only like Dota you get is NA, and that's like kind of just like a meme NA Dota. So
Yeah.
I started following the NBA in like hardcore, like super hardcore NBA fan, just because I didn't follow any video games hardcore. So hopefully there's a game that I'll try to like balance it out a little bit more. But right now it's just like, what's next?
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, Doyle. Me and Digger are gonna be doing the previewing the NBA Eastern Conference tonight. That's gonna be an absolute shit show. I know that, but
You guys doing that?
we're doing that tonight. We're going to get in Rob Pod. It's called Rob Pod Open Mic, where I take people who are not on the Robbery Boys team if they want to, because I'll post when I have a time slot. I'll say, like, okay, I have an opening here if anybody wants to talk about it. Digger said he would. I said, what do you want to talk about? And Digger said, I want to talk about me being the best of our friend group at sports games. I was like, well, you're not, so.
That's not true.
He's like, well, I'm the best at NBA. I said, no, you're not the best
That's
at NBA.
not true.
And you're not the best at NHL.
No, it's not. It's not good at really any games.
Yeah, but and that's gonna happen tonight. So that's called Rob Pod Open Mic. First one's gonna happen tonight, but you'll hear the Doyle again. We will probably do one as a group with Nick and a couple other guys. Maybe CJ and Verse will want to get on for an MW. Cool. Ooh, that'd be hype. And what we were talking about with Colby is talking about like the OG Melee boys. I'll get in for one. That would be kind of fun to talk about because we had a lot of Melee stories. But
yeah, we do. Marshall, Jake, Chris.
I don't know if they would come, but if Marshall would come for sure. So
I don't know. You might see Chris. Chris is a weird guy.
Chris would probably, yeah. Jake probably would too. He doesn't get anything going on. Jake's birthday today. Shout out to Jake. But okay, let's close this thing down. That was Doyle's life in a nutshell, Call of Duty career anyway, and what he's going to expect from MW. He's going to play some GBs with the boys. And one last thing, Doyle, before you leave, if you were 14 now, do you think you would have started to stream? And you're not like, let's say that you knew you had the trajectory.
I bought basketball shoes because we always played basketball.
Okay.
So if I knew streaming was an option, that like a realistic option, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think I have the personality for it, but now I just I'm always depressed playing video games with bad people.
Oof. Yeah, that's true.
Hit them with it.
That's all right. It is what it is. It's still, it can be fun, but it's just not great content sometimes. But
yeah,
the clips
are.
The clips can be fun.
Clips.
Yeah, the clips are good. That's why I want the clips. I know we're going way over time, and I'll probably edit out the end of this.
All of this, yeah.
All right, Doyle.
10-minute podcast.
Until next time, I guess, when hopefully MW comes out on PC and it's not a forest fire, and I'll buy it. But it might be.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It might be.
It might be. All right. Sounds good. GGWP. We're out. That was Rob Pod episode 2 featuring the Life of Doyle. We're outie. All right.